So, aliens. I'm not talking about the possibility of aliens in real life. I think Americans last year showed the whole world that we really don't care what that answer is. In 2020, aliens were the least of our worries. No, I'm talking about the aliens from the realms of science fiction. From humanoid to animalistic and everything in between, the idea of hypothetical life on other worlds has been the stuff of conversations since Epicurus's time. However, at the start of the 20th century, extraterrestrial beings in the literary sense really started popping off, due to the rise in popularity of pulp fiction. Not that Pulp Fiction. Am I going to be doing this all day? Pulp Fiction were cheaply produced indie magazines, read by the common masses from 1896 to the late 1950s. Several publications like Amazing solely printed science fiction works. While critics and the dominant culture looked down on the genre, it gained massive popularity with young boys. You may even argue that fandom culture started with sci-fi, since pulp publications allowed for fans to talk to their favorite authors and to each other in their letter columns. While the writing was far from fine art, several well-known authors like Isaac Asimov and Ursula Le Guin had their first works published in the pulps. Aliens were frequent characters in science fiction pulp stories. They were seen as either monstrous enemies or unlikely allies to our human protagonists, depending on the events of the times. Sometimes they were even love interests for the male heroes to swoon over, but only if they were hot. While otherworldly cultures and strange planets are exciting things in themselves, aliens also turned into metaphors in science fiction. Think of it. Beings that are not human. No, beings that are not even acquainted with Earth. How do they differ from humans? How are they the same? You cannot write aliens nowadays without the comparison to humanity present. Ultimately, alien characters in sci-fi are often used to discuss the nature of humanity itself. One of my professors in college went as far as to say that aliens in sci-fi represent the exact opposite of humanity. If the aliens in the story are monstrously evil and out to destroy the world, the humans are comparatively good and fight to save it. If they are passive observers watching a catastrophe at a distance, humans are active participants freaking the hell out, but surviving. Spock is calm and logical, Kirk drop kicks. That's just how alien it gets. Now let's talk about Homestuck. Andrew Husse's original webcomic has the Trolls, an alternate race of beings that are also thrown into the world-ending Spurb game alongside our human protagonists. They supply the whole gamut of possible relationships. Enemies, rivals, lovers, enemies to lovers, the best of friends, and sometimes they didn't care to interact with the humans at all. Now that I think about it, an independent publication with message forums so people can talk with Hussey and other fans, and a sci-fi story with humans and aliens, including heroes that fall for the attractive female aliens. MSPA is essentially pulp fiction. Insectoid in origin, raised in unique upbringings, and possessing a rainbow of blood colors, Alternians and their culture are constantly compared and contrasted to the reader's own perceptions of humanity. Even Homestuck's current writing team is using this same technique to give their thoughts about the human race, albeit in a very narrow and politically motivated way. I wish they wouldn't do that. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of their interpretation. The metaphor comes off a little demeaning towards everyone, especially for people of color. Oh, Jen, surely the post-canon team's ideas about troll culture are not that terrible. Do you really want to go there? Excuse me? In the official continuation of a well-liked comic read all over the world by people of different nations who don't give a crap about American politics and social reform. Do you really want the troll species and their culture to represent anyone who isn't a white American? Listen, comment bot, I just want to apologize again for going really hard back there. I'm gonna play some calming copyright-free music. You just have a little relaxation time. I'm gonna go back to the video essay now. I love you. So, going with the more plausible and less insulting idea that aliens are used to critique and celebrate elements of all humanity, what do Homestuck's trolls have to say about our human kids, their version of Earth, and possibly humanity IRL? Let's just touch on a few of these. Cruel and hostile home planet. Horrific Alternia is literally out to kill people. So Earth can be considered the opposite. Not perfect in any sense, but you can enjoy peaceful flora and fauna and expect the sun to not instantly end you. Militaristic. This is either praising the freedom of humanity, since most are not immediately drafted into the military at age 18, or it could be a call for global peace. Darwinian culture. Humanity genuinely cares for the weak and helpless, so maybe the whole survival of the fittest thing is not all it's cracked up to be. Violent caste system. Actively denouncing caste systems in the real world and denouncing the destruction of people who have a different lifestyle, creed, or religion. Greedy and irredeemably evil imperialistic dictator. The less I say, the better about this. I want this video to stay monetized. Please, YouTube. Society of Orphans. Considering that Troll Society lacks any kind of family structure aside from pet companions, due to their manner of birth, adults being taken into space, and the willingness to even take down members of their own caste groups with little remorse, it's plausible to think that Earth families are inherently good by comparison, or it possibly is advocating for found family dynamics over traditional households. Sleeping in Soper Slime. PTSD awareness? Possibly? On second thought, maybe not, considering that trolls can just get over sleeping outside of their recupercoons. Maybe it shows that humans are lucky to be able to sleep at night without the constant need for sedatives. Taking a look at the list, all in all, I'd have to say that trolls in Homestuck are a very humanistic take on humans. I like it. Of course, those were just my assumptions. What do you guys think? What are other examples of trolls and troll culture critiquing or celebrating humanity? Or are there other pop culture aliens you want to mention? Feel free to discuss it in the comments below. After liking the video, of course. Lol. This video is available a week early for my Patreon supporters, in case you're curious. Of course, I know that the original, 24 trolls in Alternia and before us are supposed to be representatives of internet culture. That's a given. Oh gosh, but yeah, chalk this subject up for something I thought I'd never talk about. I guess taking that science fiction and fantasy class in college was worth something after all. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!
Hey there. Consider becoming a patron, just like the phenomenal Bleed Red, Alexander Madeline, Uranium Coffee, Ryan Nelson, Runda, and Cloudy Days.